Things are looking pretty bad for Bitcoin right now. I am looking to reduce my position. I've been selling Bitcoin since last year. I sold quite a bit last year. I sold quite a bit this year, and I'm still looking to sell more. I'm in a position now where I'm like, well, I have a pretty good my portfolio is diversified fairly well. I have stocks, real estate, and Bitcoin, but my confidence in Bitcoin is dropping. And I've been in Bitcoins since for a long time. I've been in Bitcoin for a long time. So I've been a strong believer in Bitcoin. I've been 100% into it. I've been fairly poorly diversified and just totally all into Bitcoin. I've been very much all into Bitcoin for a long time. And now I've sold a substantial portion and I'm looking to sell more. Bitcoin is not really turning out to be what it promised to do. People are not using it as much for transactions. It's not really being used as a store of value. People are attempting to use it for a store of value, but its volatility is not really dropping. I expected by now the volatility would be much less, and I thought Bitcoin would be a much higher than it is right now. Gold rallied without Bitcoin, and when the environment was right for Bitcoin to rally, gold took off. What did Bitcoin do? It crashed. Things are not looking very good for MicroStrategy. I actually legitimately think that MicroStrategy can go to zero. Things are not looking great for STRC. It's significantly below par. So generally, people are losing faith in Bitcoin. The problem with Bitcoin is you can't really even borrow against it because it's too volatile, and it could crash to arbitrarily low levels. A stock could only crash so much because even if it goes down significantly below what its discounted cash flow model would say it's worth, it's just a short-term liquidity issue. But with Bitcoin, if people lose faith in it, it's not being held up by the fundamental earnings of a company. So if you borrow against Bitcoin, you could get yourself in a lot of trouble because one, it's volatile and it has a negative reinforcement feedback loop where if one person sells, another person loses confidence and then they sell, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then if you have anybody who's borrowed against the asset, then you have a big problem. Then you get liquidations, then you get more sellers, and you get more loss of confidence. So Bitcoin, if you're holding it, that's if there is a such thing as a safe way to own it, is just to hold it and not encumber it and not borrow against it. But you have other options right now. You have so many other companies that are going up and their fundamentals are improving. We have other stocks that are relatively cheap compared to their earnings growth and their earnings capacity and their operating profit. Yeah, their free cash flow is fairly low because of the because of the capital expenditures. But as soon as the capital expenditures slow down, if they slow down, the earnings I would think that the stock would skyrocket. So you have Bitcoin that could skyrocket too, or you could buy what in my opinion is a safer bet, which is stocks. So I sold as soon as I lost confidence and started losing confidence in Bitcoin. I sold a significant amount, and now I have now I have a position where I could feel fairly comfortable being diversified into stocks and real estate and Bitcoin. But I'm starting to get uncomfortable even with the Bitcoin that I own right now. I kind of want to make it even smaller of a position because it's still a fairly large position. Maybe it should only be just 1% of the portfolio. Maybe it should be just a very small percentage of the portfolio and not a substantial amount. So I would suspect a lot of people to be thinking the same thing that I'm thinking right now. I don't think I'm the only person who's worried about Bitcoin. I think there's a lot of people who've been in Bitcoin for a long time who are looking at other opportunities, and there are plenty right now. I don't think this AI build out that we have going on right now, I don't think this paradigm shift in computing is going to stop anytime soon. The number of applications that we could build and the amount of transformations that the AI discoveries are going to cause, this is, I believe it's going to be a multi-decade transformation that we're going to see at a minimum. Who knows? This AI, I don't know if there could be a limit to the value of the growth of intelligence, because theoretically the demand for inference is infinite. So if the demand for inference is infinite and intelligence keeps growing, then why would we ever want to stop building data centers? Why would we ever want to stop building our compute build out? To me, it seems like we're just going to keep building this forever. So where is the upside? Is it in Bitcoin? Another thing too, you would think that all these people who've got extremely wealthy off of AI recently, you would think that they would want to allocate some of that wealth into Bitcoin. And I don't think that's happened. Bitcoin topped out around 125K. Now it's around 60K. Meanwhile, you have a lot of engineers and a lot of tech people that are getting extremely rich on AI. And presumably, they're diversifying, but it doesn't look like they're diversifying into Bitcoin. So I don't know. Things aren't looking very good for Bitcoin. I personally, in my opinion, is to keep your portfolio allocation. My opinion would be for anybody to not have too large of a allocation into Bitcoin. For me, I'm uncomfortable with the allocation that I have, and I've reduced my allocation significantly. So that's just my 2 cents about Bitcoin. I do know that I have some followers on this channel that have been with me for a long time, and I have a history of being in Bitcoin. So this is kind of directed for my OG followers on this channel. But anyways, sorry to disappoint too, because I know my OG followers are very much into Bitcoin. So I'm sorry to disappoint, because it's always been this diamond hands ethos, hold forever ethos. Well, things are changing, and I hear younger people calling Bitcoin boomer coin. Bitcoin could go out of style like any fashionable thing. The trends change. So I've said enough about Bitcoin. I hope you have a good day. Thanks for listening.